Hello and welcome to my video, lesson 1.4, equations from tables. So if you look here, we have a table and we have some things to look for. And we've talked about this in class, but hopefully you remember the last video where we talked about the change in input and the change in output. When we look at the change, and we're talking about it in this equation, we're looking for the change in the output. So if going from 4 to 8, what is the change? In this case, the change is 4. We're adding 4 every time we go from 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 16. So that's the change. And the base case is where the input is 0. If the input is 0, then the output is the base case. Okay, so where the input is 0, the output is the base case. So with that information, and that's all we have to do, we can get an equation. And then you want to check it. So let's just try it out. So we said the change was 4 times by x, that little dot just means times, plus, let's actually go plus with blue because it's a positive 4 in the output. If it was a minus 4 or negative 4, we'd put minus 4. And then equals y. Alright, so this is what we have as our equation. Now you can double check it. Okay, so if we double check it, I'll use just a different color. So the output, or the input was 0 on the first one. So let's try that. 4 times 0 plus 4. Well, 4 times 0 is 0. Plus 4, so that means it equals 4, and indeed that's what our output says. Let's try one more. 4 times 1 plus 4. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 4 equals 8. And indeed, that's what our output says. So we know we're right. So those are the two things you have to look for. That's the only two things you have to look for. The base case and the, change. The two things to look for. Let's look at the next equation here and see if we can find the base case and the change. Well, the change isn't so bad. Change is actually pretty easy to find. It's 3. You can find that 1 to 4 is 3, 4 to 7, you have to add 3, 7 to 10 is 3, etc. Now if you look at the base case, well, it's a little bit harder because we don't have an input of 0. So we have to move backwards by 1. Let's just try that in purple. Move backwards by 1. So this all counts up. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So we need to go backwards by 1 here. So if we go backwards by 1, well, we're subtracting by 3 to go from 10 to 7. Subtract by 3 to go from 7 to 4. Subtract by 3 to go from 4 to 1. Subtract by 3 to go from 1 to negative 2. This is the tricky one, okay, when you go in the negatives. So, there you go. We have a negative 2 as our base case. So, now we can write these down. Green for change. So 3 times by x. And then, like I said, it's a negative 2, so we put a minus 2. And equals y. So now we have our equation. Now you want to check it by putting our values in for x and then seeing if it equals the y. So let's try 1. So 1 times 3 minus 2, which would be 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1, and that is what our y, or what our input is, or our output is, sorry. And then we try the next one. So we have 2 as an input. So 3 times 2 minus 2. 3 times 2 is 6 minus 2. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And that is our output. So we know we have it correct. Once you've checked it twice, you're done. And you know that your equation is solid. So here are two equations for these two tables. I hope this video helps you understand equations from tables. I just want to make one extra thing clear. If you're looking at a problem question is the same thing. The change and the base case. You just have to look for the change in the problem. What gets changed because of something else? And what doesn't change, no matter what? You have to pay it every time, or you count it every time, or it starts like that, or whatever else. If it starts like that, or you have to do it every time, it's the base case. If it changes, then it's the change. Okay, good luck.